has been tons of closures recently at theme parks across the globe, meaning some of the most famous and beloved roller coasters worldwide are no more. The UK theme park industry is on fire at the moment, not metaphorically, like it's actually on fire, and luckily nothing else bad has happened. Oh wait, 2 roller coasters have derailed. What is going on, man? It's been quite a sad week because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Wait, no, that's too sad now. Even if it's a sad week, we have to have the iconic theme song to intro this past week in theme parks, the series where we take a look at the past 7 days in news at theme parks. Would you believe it? And as you can tell, there is a lot that has happened. So if you want to skip to specific stories, be sure to use the video progress bar chapters below. And if you haven't already, be sure to use that subscribe button as well. These videos do take quite some time to research and create, so any support towards this series and the channel in general would be greatly appreciated. And it would probably be greatly appreciated if I got on with the news, because this might be a long one, because there's genuinely so much going on. I don't know where to start. I tell a lie, I do know where to start. With the quickfire news segment, let's go. Starting in the hit continent, Europe, as opposed to the non-hit continents, well, I don't know what I'm on about, where we have quite a few cool pieces of news. Because Parc Asterix in France have gone and opened their brand new spinning coaster, Set Automatics. It soft opened for a few days beforehand and now has officially opened as of the day this video drops. So technically it hasn't opened yet. I can predict things from a mile away, but that ride does look very fun and I can't wait to check it out at some point. Europa Park have finally teased the big new RUMOUR refurbishment, the old Euromere attraction, but no, that's where the pun comes from. Telling us that this ride is going to be happening and what year, but where do you think it was teased? Is it teased in the park somewhere? Is it teased in one of the newer rides? Nope, it's teased in the Ed and Edda's Grand Prix adventure game. A video game, of all things, has given us this teaser saying Project Euromere 2028. Stay tuned because I'm very excited about that and I'm going to cover it here. Park Warner Madrid have been testing a brand new drone show that looks to be very Warner Brothers Batman based. Still looks fun. A new Mack Big Dipper may be coming to Switzerland in 2027 at Connieland, and that's the place with this weird scorpion coaster. Yes, that's real, and that'll be really nice to see. And Merlin Entertainments have decided to pause on them selling sea life attractions. I swear they announced that they were going to sell them like a month or 2 ago, and they've only just decided to pause it. What's going on? Maybe whilst they get buyers for those, we might see another park on the Merlin Entertainment's board be sold to another company too. And I guess whilst we're on the topic of Merlin, we might as well head to the UK and talk about the news there, because there's been some very interesting and strange news. First of all, Thorpe Park seemed to have raised the Hyperia netting in the queue line. Oh, what a piece of news that is. And they also appear to be using more AI generated content on their on-ride photos, which was found recently. But the fact that got approved, the tyre on Stealth doesn't even say the ride's name properly. I just can't, man. You have a graphics design team for a reason. Merlin Parks, please stop using AI. Well, not just Merlin Parks, but that applies to every park everywhere, including Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because they use their fair share of it for Launchpad, if you remember. But at the park very recently, that we don't have to go back and remember, Steeplechase, their very old 3 roller coasters, the different colour ones on the horses, that is very jank, but I absolutely love it, seem to have set on fire. And that's the first of many fires in the past week. Not too sure what exactly happened, there was no news articles about this, just a singular TikTok I saw, unlike Alton Towers the other day when they had a fire, because that was everywhere on the news. A fire in Forbidden Valley under the Sky Ride, and it was spotted by a member of staff. They evacuated the whole area and eventually opened it back up because it wasn't that major of a fire and it was extinguished and gone. But then 2 more fires happened the same week. Over on Runaway Mine Train, which again was a small fire, and over on Wickerman again. No, please, first the vape. Now what? Obviously the parks have so many safety features when it comes to even fires like this, so any rides that may be affected by it would go under maintenance and they would sort it out completely before opening, make sure it's fully safe, and that's kind of what they've had to do with Wickerman, because as of when this video releases, it's been shut for 4 days straight. They can't catch a break, can they? Rita closes for months, they get that back open, Wickerman's now dead. I mean, I know which one I'd rather have, and I'd rather close Rita, but you know. Talking of the Dark Forest, they've been teasing that brand new 13-themed scare maze, as it's rumoured, in some brand new teasers released very recently, including the Dark Hollow, which has been announced, the brand new scare zone based on 13. And they also teased something huge happening to Nemesis Reborn. Or so everyone thought. Percy got picked up by Nemesis and dropped his AirPods. Now this person's picking them up. Is it on-ride audio, guys? What's happening? Well, after so much speculation and so many comments on that video, it turns out it was a National Rollercoaster Day celebration, mainly focusing on Nemesis. Happy Rollercoaster Day, guys. 2 days later, Nemesis is not getting on-ride audio via AirPods. We had Galactica VR and now Nemesis AirPods. But I hope you all had an amazing rollercoaster day. Chessington celebrated by putting out an engineer workshop and having an auction of certain pieces, where you could even buy a fake piece of Mandrill Mayhem track that's never been used. As you do. And I guess we can come back to the UK in just a bit to talk about that one crazy story, because elsewhere there have been loads of celebrations regarding National Rollercoaster Day 2. Much like Intermint sharing brand new audio of Falcons Flight testing, and I think it's on-ride audio, as you can hear. Give this a listen. Still ridiculous. And Six Flags celebrated by giving a huge drop, a huge announcement. What could it be? It was a POV of a repainted roller coaster called Titan. Yippee! But no, they did give us a date for something exciting. A date for when new information is going to be released about the Six Flags Over Texas Giga Dive Coaster, with the hashtag underneath, hashtag drop the gate. If I go outside right now and find a gate and drop it, do I get the information early? Because if I do, I will do it right now. Whatever week that happens in September, I will be covering it here on This Past Week in Theme Parks. So subscribe so you don't miss the info about that one. And I guess now we're in America, aren't we? So I've just teleported out the UK. A delivery was spotted on the highway going towards Six Flags Great Adventure. It looked like support for a brand new coaster. Yeah, that whole thing about delaying the coaster because they haven't got enough time. They were planning to build it at this rate anyway. They are liars and they don't tell us anything. Tell a lie, they did tell us something. Because Six Flags Great America have announced that Raging Bull, their B&M Hyper, is going to be closing for a little while to have a major refresh. A full repaint happening from August the 18th. Again, today. It's going to close after today. I just predict the future, but that is really nice to see and very random because that's a major ride in the park and you're closing it middle of summer and going to Halloween season. There was a big story this past week in Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. Kumba, their B&M sit-down coaster, appears to be testing now. After so much time being closed and so many rumours saying that it would be removed, seeing it testing again is a lovely sight, and I really hope it opens before I go to Florida because I want to go on it again. It is a good bloody ride. Over at the sister park in Orlando, SeaWorld, some random bloke was spotted climbing over the nets of the ride area of Manta. What an absolute idiot. This, my friends, serves as a good message. Store your loose articles away and don't be stupid. Like this guy. Sticking in Florida over at Walt Disney World, rumour, the Liberty Bell has been destroyed. It hasn't. Splash at Six Flags Great Adventure now has a maximum height of 76 inches. That's 6'4". That is my height. I am now scared. Lagoon have been teasing some brand new rides that look very, very interesting, even though all it says is something big is coming. What could that be? Six Flags have put in a trademark application for Tormenta Rampaging Run, which, going back to the Six Flags Over Texas dive coaster, that is a Spanish theme, and that's a Spanish word for storm. Hersheypark have announced a brand new Halloween overlay to one of their roller coasters. Yes, that is real. A huge flat ride at Ronde is currently doing this. Bro's giving it the wobbly, funky moves. And this happened at a park somewhere that I don't even know. What is going on with these roller coasters, man? I mean, obviously that coaster there didn't derail, but the wheels on the bottom of the front car came off. What? Luckily, everyone was okay in that one. There was also a wacky worm, back to the UK again, in a small park in Wales that did derail a lot worse this time, and it appears from this one, you can even just tell from the image, I don't know how a wacky worm is doing that, by the way, that it was a lot worse, and it appears 13 children were injured in that derailment, which is really, really sad. But stuff like this is very unlikely to happen, and I don't really know how that's happened. But hopefully those that were sent to hospital and were injured are doing okay now. It's just weird the fact that we've had those things happen, and then we've had the fires that I spoke about earlier. It's been such a sad week for so many reasons at theme parks across the globe, including the fact that last week, when I literally released my last episode, an announcement from Kings Island came out saying that Boo Blasters on Boo Hill, a family dark ride at the park, will be closing to make way for future development. And you have until the 1st of September to take your final rides on it. Hopefully that gets a good send-off and it can have one, because I still can't believe Six Flags told us when something's closing. And that is one announcement out of many that we've had recently for things closing, because two major things that are shutting have already closed now and shut their doors for the final time in the past week, aka yesterday. The first of which being the entirety of ZDT's Amusement Park, with some really fun looking flat rides, a really cool looking slide as well, and of course the main event, Switchback, the big switchback wooden roller coaster, because it literally goes up a spike, goes backwards, and does a switch track to get you back into the station. And that ride looked like a ton of fun. The whole park did, to be fair. It appears it had a very nice send-off. Lots of people at the park, the whole team that runs the park as well, getting together and celebrating the park's life. And of course, the good news out of this, that Switchback is looking to be bought by at least 4 parks already. So as much as it is a bit of an end of an era at ZDT Amusements, at least some of the rides will live on. Unlike the very famous roller coaster at Universal Studios Orlando, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, because that fully and permanently closed yesterday and will never see the light of day again. A huge Marathon X-Car coaster with a vertical lift hill into a non-vertical drop, round into a non-inverting loop, and multiple brake runs. More than multiple, there's so bloody many of them. So many weird and quirky elements, loads of like S-bends and curves and some really cool airtime moments, some rather uncomfortable trains, may I add, and obviously the amazing setting on those trains to be able to play your own music whilst you go round. Well, not your own music, but music on the selection board, and you could click one and you could you get what I mean. A really unique element on that ride that was really, really fun. And this is one of those that I'm very grateful I actually did get to do at some point in my life, because I went to Florida back in 2018, sadly won't be able to re-ride it later this year. Got to go on it a good 4 or 5 times I reckon, and it wasn't my favourite ride there by any means, but some of the elements on it were so much fun, and I am going to miss it slightly. Not overly, but slightly. And recently it didn't really seem to be that popular because there was a lot of low queues for it, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I see bloody Octonauts getting longer queues than that. But on the final day, it was a lot busier. They had wristbands being handed out for the final ever train, exclusive guitar picks that you could pick up for the final closing day as well. And I didn't even realize that there are characters as part of this ride, and they actually had them out as real actors, not just as fictional people on like the boards and the sort of art stuff, actual real people embodying those characters. And it was such a cool ending to the ride's life. It looked like a really fun day, and a very sad one because it's now closed forever, and I guess we just wait to see what goes in its place. Did you ride Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket? And if you did, what did you think of it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the updates on not only that, but everything to come in the future, because I'll be covering it here on this channel in multiple videos and in this series, This Past Week in Theme Parks. Goodbye.